Today I'm going to share with all you guys how much a agent can actually make when they sell a home. Let's talk. There's a lot of individuals out there that believe that when you sell a home, you're making bank, like 10 G's easy. That is not the case at all. Today I'm gonna show you guys how to do the actual math equation so that way you guys can figure out how much an agent just made on a property that they just sold. Before I start, this is gonna vary from broker to broker, even agent to agent, because depending on the broker that agent parks their license at, it's also gonna determine how much commission they're gonna earn on a sale, because some brokers probably charge a 50% split on top of fees, on top of fees, on top of fees. And depending on whether or not that sale came from the company or came from the individual agent is also gonna vary as well. Let's just go based off of a home that is $300,000, okay? So in California here, the average commission a potential agent can make from a sale is 2.5% of the sales price. So if you were to do the math of 300,000 times 2.5%, you have $7,500. But that's not the agent's take-home check. Because remember, depending on the broker that he or she parks his license at, is going to determine the split. Let's just assume that the broker is charging a 50% commission split. Now you did that math equation for $7,500 and times that by 50%, the agent actually only receives about $3,750. $3,750 seems like a lot of money for just opening the doors to a home, right? But I'm gonna get to that later in this video, so stick around. Now you guys know the basic calculations of how much an agent actually gets from a purchase of a sale. But there's more. That's not the total cost that agent actually takes home. Every agent gets a 1099. So that check that the agent just made, he hasn't paid taxes on that yet. So if you consider in the tax, it's gonna eat into it. But how long did it take for this client to actually find that home? Did it take 5 homes? Did it take 20 homes? Did it take 30 homes? I'm telling you right now in Sacramento, the average home a buyer actually takes before they actually land on a home they love is going to be around 20 or 30 homes. How much does the gas cost that agent driving around showing those homes? Because you got to remember, he doesn't get paid hourly driving around the city. So the gas, the mileage, the depreciation of his vehicle, he's paying for all of that. And yes, this is considered a business expense, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. But you can see how that could add up, eating at the cost of his commission. Depending on the vehicle that he's utilizing, maybe it's a hybrid, a Prius, or maybe it's a V8 that eats a lot of gas that gets 10 miles to the gallon. So this is for a buyer's agent when he's representing a buyer. What about a seller's agent? How much do they make? Well, for the same example of a $300,000 homes, they are getting paid roughly around the same. But their expenses are a little different compared to a buyer's agent. Because you see, a buyer's agent is always driving that buyer around town. So it might have took them 20 to 30 homes to land on that house to make a decision. But the seller's agent already have a client. They're just waiting for a willing buyer to come in and purchase it and take it off from their hands, and that seller's agent is gonna get paid when the transaction closes. But some of the expenses that a seller's agent has to pay for are marketing costs, such as the professional photography, the staging expenses, the marketing dollars. Are they running it on a campaign? And when you start considering all these costs, how much is that seller's agent really left with? And depending on the broker, the split may be a little bit different, because you see, a broker might supply signs. You know, the signs you see with the agent's good looking face on there. And depending on the broker, that might be expenses or fees that they're going to be adding on to the commission check for that agent. It could be contracts. It could be a building expense. It could be an office expense. It could be the signs. It could be the installation of the signs. It could be the lock boxes, the keys. You see what I'm going with this? So the expenses of a buyer's agent compared to a seller's agent may vary. And it really, really depends on the broker that they're with. But based off of today's video, I'm only going to be doing it based off of that scenario, so that you guys could kind of get an idea of how much an agent can potentially make from a $300,000 home. And yeah, sometimes there are agents that will double end. You could already imagine that if this agent was representing both the buyer and the seller, he or she could potentially earn up to $15,000 on just one home. But that is not always the case. So if you've always wondered how much a potential agent makes on a sale, now you know. And I think I'm done talking. Peace out.